My name is Jenny Siung. I'm Head of Education. You're very welcome to our first CPD of 2021. And it's in collaboration with Dr. Patricia Kieran from Immaculate, and the Dublin City Interfaith Forum, represented by Dr. Archbishop, or is it Archbishop Jackson? Michael Jackson.
It's even more interesting.
So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Trish and Michael Jackson.
Good morning, everybody. It is with incredible delight and honour that we welcome you today to Chester Beatty Library for this day exploring sacred artefacts and their role in faith communities and their role in classrooms and in educational contexts. So the biggest advantage of being here, obviously, in Chester Beatty is that it has a world-class, amazing collection of sacred artefacts from the religious traditions of the world, the great religious traditions. And also we are honoured and delighted to have the generous engagement and involvement of members of the Dublin City Interfaith Forum who have come here today, and they come to countless events to support dialogue and learning and engagement with sacred artefacts. And we have teachers and education officers and educational leaders here as well today who have given of their time to come and dialogue. So in this room we have amazing ingredients already for exploring sacred artefacts. I want to introduce you to Archbishop Michael Jackson, who is Church of Ireland Archbishop of Glendalough of Dublin and Bishop of Glendalough. And he is an amazing worker on behalf of Interfaith Dialogue. So he's just going to talk for a little bit before we begin our presentation with Joanne. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure for me to be with you this morning and to get this opportunity to, I suppose, hear your perspectives, participate in aspects of this gathering and conference with you. And all I want to do at this stage, I suppose because of the nature of our topic and the area of our investigation, is to try and say something about symbol. There are, of course, various different ways of understanding our society. That's so much of a truism that it's hardly worth articulating. But what I want to go on to say, that I think there is now a well-established zone of misunderstanding leading in the direction of incomprehension in regard to symbol itself. Because more and more a symbol is a selling point, it's something decorative, whatever its derivation, its primary purpose, or its ongoing impact and meaning. And we even use the word icon, not, of course, in terms of anything religious, but we use the word icon entirely naturally in relation to pointers and symbols. So I think the way in which symbol is now understood makes us so porous to social media, for example. And in an educational context, I think I would say the adults blame the children now, but I suggest it was the adults who led the way. I would go so far as to suggest that our misunderstanding of symbol is here for the future, and therefore a conference such as today enables us to look at it a bit more deeply and a bit more strongly. So I want to offer you the following suggestion, that a symbol is not a sales technique, but it is a pointer to stability. Of course, such stability is and will be contested, because choice today is our key driver. But we all expect that stability is the more unattractive option when choice for some has become exponential, while for others there is neither choice nor stability. So a symbol invites a particular type of question and a particular type of curiosity. And that's why it can be a focus of disclosure, and also just as easily a focus of hatred. But primarily, I want to suggest that symbol is a focus of belonging, a focus of memory, and a focus of meaning shared and of ongoing association. And in some real sense, it is a focus of revelation and invitation to understanding self. That is, if it is a symbol of something from within our own life, and to understanding otherness, if it is a symbol of something from within the lives of others. And so a symbol, I think, brings us into a conversation and an exploration with a wider and a bigger understanding of society. And this is why I think, set as we are in the context of the Chester Beatty Library, inherited symbols are important. They carry meaning and they point towards an ultimate and its varied and indeed variegated expression. This holds in a specifically charged way for religious symbols. And in a society with a rich and heavy Christian inheritance, many of us suffer from what I refer to, and I hope not with bad taste, I refer to as religious indigestion. But we're not entitled to bring this feeling to bear on the religious experience and the religious symbolism of faiths other than our own. Our modern and contemporary recoiling from religion is in fact relatively recent and is not shared universally. Because worldwide, I would suggest, religion is on the rise rather than on the wane. So I suggest that every object carries a meaning and that the Chester Beatty Library itself is a unique resource of objects with meaning, as we shall see and discuss as the day goes on. Now, I hesitate to go on to talk a little bit about education because I'm not an educationalist, but please indulge me for a few more minutes. One of the roles of education, as I see it, is objectively to present meaning and interpretation to everyone. That's why both early learning and all-age learning are both so exciting. Education can challenge a progression which moves from confusion to caricature. Education can unlock curiosity, and education is diverse in itself. And so I would suggest that self-understanding needs to draw us towards an awareness of others as themselves being selves. Otherwise, it is not an understanding. We, whoever we are at any given time, are not the only show in town. And again, in relation to education, I'd suggest that it's never too young to be able to challenge caricature. Hence the value of the work we will do today. The Dublin City Interfaith Forum, of which I'm delighted and proud to be a member, a few years back wrote a charter, which of course, like everything else in the world today, but appropriately, you can find on our website, which connects the entitlement and the integrity of freedom of religion with civic and social engagement with people right across the city of Dublin. And I know this holds in a number of other cities as well, but the advantage for us of that is that it is written into the civic life of this city, and therefore we have an opportunity to engage in ways which are not only fruitful but challenging to us as well. Part of the dividend of education as an interactive activity is the grasp of motivation and of continuity, as a virtue of self-understanding which comes from within but also from without. Education also offers two other essential components, one of which is criticism and the other is argued rejection. But I'd suggest that you need to understand something before you reject it. And while you may reject it, you are duty bound as part of the civic dividend of education itself to respect, from a distance or close at hand, the other to whom we ourselves are other. And I think that's one of the real advantages and one of the real richnesses of living in Ireland today. For so long, a monochrome society regarded other people as other. Now there are people who regard those who have been here for a lot longer as other. So there is an engagement potential there between what it means to be us and what it means to be them. And I think the linchpin in this is a mature understanding of otherness. And I would hope that an understanding of symbol can be an expression of that adventure. An artifact is not a lifeless thing, but it is a metaphor of understanding. And it connects people who may never ever meet. And it does so through its potential for interpretation. And it gives something of the understanding of what matters to the other, and therefore functions as a boomerang of understanding for ourselves. And so for these and for a whole host of other reasons, I would want to commend and encourage you today to take this unique opportunity that there is in the Chester Beatty Library and its artifacts and its symbols, to go on a short journey of exploration, taking the artifact and the symbol as an expression of something that matters, that conveys meaning, that is wide open to interpretation, understanding and misunderstanding, and also from the perspective of educationalists yourselves, to dig as deeply as you can in order to explain to yourself and to those you teach the importance and the treasure that symbols and artifacts are as history moves from generation to generation. Thank you.